Hi, my name is Dennis Anderson, and I am the Democratic candidate for Insurance Commissioner. I grew up on a farm near Harlan, Kansas, which is just south of Smith Center. And for the past 30 years, I have run a business which teaches prospective insurance agents the rules and regulations that they must know before they can be licensed to sell insurance. Our business has been a family business with my mother and my father, who are now retired, and my sister Debbie, who is still my business partner today. I am in this race because a lot of people that I care about could sure use my help, and insurance is a topic that I know a good deal about. You know, the topic of insurance is just as boring as you think it is. And that's why we don't think about it very much. We only think about it when we pay our premiums, wishing they weren't quite as high. We think about it again when the unexpected and unfortunate happens and we have a claim following a loss. Well, thankfully, we haven't had to worry about who has led the insurance department for some time. My predecessor, who is a Republican, Sandy Preger, has done an admirable job of safeguarding the standards by which we protect our property and our families and our livelihoods. But Sandy has done a fantastic job of standing up to special interests in the name of protecting Kansans. Sandy is retiring, though, this year, and we're at a crossroads. Without her, we are left with an immense void in Topeka, a void that a Brownback disciple is now trying to fill. Brownback is looking to extend his reach into this department that's responsible for protecting us. My opponent is Ken Selzer, CPA, who is an accountant for a big insurance company, and I'm sure he is very good at his job of looking after the interests of his insurance company employer. But we need an insurance commissioner that will look after and fight for the interests of every Kansan. There is now a new experiment that Brownback and Selzer are quietly brewing in Topeka, and it is called the Health Care Compact. The plan is to take over Medicare as we know it. The Health Care Compact would take the guaranteed Medicare benefits that our seniors currently enjoy and puts them in Brownback's pocket to do with as he sees fit. This Health Care Compact came about with no debate or input from seniors or any plan of how it would be implemented. We can only assume that the annual sum or block grant that Kansas would receive would be turned over to an insurance company, or possibly three, who would then determine how the Medicare funds would be dispersed. This Health Care Compact, which began as a protest against the Affordable Care Act, if implemented, would make the well-being of millions of Kansas senior citizens subject to massive change. My opponent is also against the expansion of Medicaid, which could only help out our rural hospitals and thousands of working-class Kansans who now must choose between going to see a doctor or putting food on their table. Why would we not accept the return of millions of our own tax dollars to reinvest in our state? Why would we not want to help thousands of working Kansans in need of medical care and medical services? Why would we say no to the thousands of jobs that Medicaid expansion could create? Not expanding Medicaid only increases the local property tax burden to make up for the budgetary shortfall that many of our rural hospitals face. My opponent will also take from now until Election Day railing against Obamacare, telling you how it has failed and should be repealed. Well, what my opponent is really saying is that he would rather score political points with his own party leadership than support and help Kansans who are in need. Advocating for the repeal means that he supports canceling the health insurance of thousands of Kansans who were able to buy health insurance in 2014. It means he supports the idea that an insurance company has the right to cancel you if you get sick. It means he's okay if you have to choose bankruptcy if you find yourself buried under a mountain of medical bill debt. It means he's okay if your children have no place to go for health insurance until they reach the age of 26. You know, no one has ever claimed that the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, is perfect. There remain things to be reformed and things to be improved. There is, though, the opportunity now to provide insurance coverage for each and every Kansan. that's been left out in the cold. For the social worker in Topeka who has a diabetic client who will see a doctor for the very first time in her life, it is an opportunity. For the young man in Wichita diagnosed as high risk for melanoma who can now find affordable preventive care so that he may never have to battle the cancer, it is an opportunity. For the woman in Overland Park who has just been laid off, who can now receive medical care for herself and a disabled husband without having to declare bankruptcy, it is an opportunity. You know, each and every one of us knows at least one person, friend or family, who could sure use an opportunity like that. Insurance is a promise. It is a contractual asset that the consumer puts their trust in, and we need to reward that trust by making sure insurance companies uphold their end of that promise. Insurance is essential for the continuity of our lives. It provides for the necessary security when the unexpected happens and allows us to carry on. Just as Sandy Prager did, I want to keep politics and special interests out of the insurance department. This office is not about the person holding the title. It's about the people that we represent. And we need an insurance commissioner that is not only going to educate and advocate for consumers, but one that is going to fight fraud. The duty of the insurance commissioner is to be the watchdog for the people and to see that all Kansans are protected regardless of what Mother Nature may blow in from the west or what government regulations may blow in from the east. Thank you so much for listening. And I am Dennis Anderson, and I would love to receive your vote for Insurance Commissioner on November 4th.